Hello people of the internet and welcome to a brand new C4D animation, Minecraft animation tutorial. This is going to be centered around keyframing, and I'm also going to be throwing in a little explanation of how, I'm just going to run through how I made my intro that I used to use previously. That a lot of people have commented on and asked, like, oh, can you show us how you made it and whatnot? It's actually pretty simple. So I made this, I think, let me think. It would have only taken a few days. It's pretty simple to make. So I'm going to go through my intro, but right now I'm going to quickly show you guys what it looks like in its full. It's only about 5 seconds or something, so you can take a look at that, and then we'll come back to this. We'll take a look at my intro, and then the behind the scenes, and then we're going to take a look at some keyframing. So enjoy. Okay, so that's what my intro looks like when it's fully rendered out and everything. It's pretty short, and I like it. I kind of got a little bit lost how to end it and how to transition back to the video, so that's why it kind of goes into my mouth, and some people like it and some people think it's a little bit weird. But I kind of like it. Now I don't use the intro because I was going to get a new one, and then I never got a new one, and now I just I'm lost because I don't have anything. I probably will make one in the future if I can get around to it. But now we're going to quickly look into how I made it. We're not going to go too in depth into it, and I'm not going to waste too much of your time. But this is just going to be what I'm using for the entire scene, how to set up the scene. If you guys want to do it, the text and how I keyframe my guy. So this tutorial today is probably going to be on just basic keyframing mostly, because that seems like a big point that you guys really want to learn. Now, first off, I want to say to you guys, a lot of people are like, it's a little bit hard it's a little bit frustrating. A lot of you guys are like, hey, teach me how to keyframe, I want to animate. Yeah, my past two tutorials have been on camera work and how to set up the scene and whatever, which are two of pretty much the biggest things when you're animating, that you kind of, it's very good if someone shows you how to do these, because then you'll always remember how to do my previous two tutorials. That's why I made them. Keyframing is very different. Keyframing is not like someone can show you how to keyframe and then you're going to be a master. You're not going to be as good as them just because they showed you how they did it. Keyframing is very much getting a feel of how someone moves. You need to do a lot of research. Like, if you want to animate someone moving, you need to watch someone moving step by step, frame by frame, to figure out where their legs go and how they bend at which points and whatever. This intro I made was actually made a long time ago, so if I was to remake this, oh shit, I have no look at that, no eyebrows. That's because when I re-rendered this, I put a Pokemon skin on myself, and the Pokemon skin did not use eyebrows, so I'm going to add eyebrows back on there. So I made this a long time ago. If I remade this, it would actually probably be better, because I haven't animated a lot. I just, did some tutorials and whatnot since my first couple of animations that I made were that were kind of shitty, but I made them for fun. If you guys have seen them, there's one with a guy jacking off, and then there's one where it's a parody thingy of ASDF movie. Anyway, what was I going on about? Alright, it's all down to practice. Keyframing is all down to practice. You're going to learn new techniques and how to make people walk in a certain way that you like. You're never going to get it right in the first time. You're not going to just jump on C4D, learn how to keyframe things, and then just be like, oh yeah, I'll keyframe this at this perfect time, and get everything correct, okay? So don't worry about getting it right the first time. You might make a few shitty animations before you get to actually making something good that people can really appreciate. So now we're going to go look into how I keyframed my guy. Actually, you know what? First off, we're going to very quickly see how I set up my scene. So if I render this, and you guys would have seen it in the video, you can see, okay, right now while I'm rendering this, it doesn't apply the glow that I've put on my floor and my back wall until the whole image is finished rendering. So right now, this is obviously not what you guys would have seen, but this is what the scene looks like before I've added the intense glow on both my floor and wall. So as you can see, the words are everything is really it feels really like glass and smooth, and you got a nice reflection, and then now it looks like there's no room. It doesn't look like you're in a room anymore. It's just a really white space, and I like this. I like this effect, and I think I accidentally stumbled across this. But basically, if we go down to my material that I've got on the floor, I use two floors, and one of them is just at 90 degrees for the back wall, because floors go on for forever. Or at least a very long distance. So if we go to color, I've just chosen white. Reflection, I've added a bit of a Fresnel reflection there. I'm not going to go too much into that because that's not what this is about. The specular, really, I should have got rid of. It's not really specular. I mean, it's not going to do much in this. I've added a lot of effects, but generally, you just want to get rid of specular. You don't really need it for a lot of the things you're going to be doing. And then I added some glow. Now, originally, it's actually much brighter than this, and I've turned it down. Glow is just how I made this scene. So if you guys want to make this exact same scene, make a white wall or white floor on both the ground and on a wall, and then you just add some glow to it, and you're going to get this really nice look that doesn't look like a room. It's just a white kind of glowing area. And next we got the text. I'm using MoText for that, and then you right click it, and then you go make editable, and that's going to allow you to move each individual letter. So that's why I had to obviously this was all one word, and then I had to make it editable, and then take this S and then move it out. So that's how I did that. I mean, the rest is all just adding. I mean, you can't really see it now, but adding caps on these and that's not what this tutorial is about today. This is mostly about keyframing. So I just wanted to show you the scene really quickly while I was here. So next we're gonna go click on our guy, and as you can see here, there's no keyframes. If this is where the keyframes is. This is where the magic happens. This bar down the bottom here, this is where all the magic happens. But as you can see here, you see my guy walking, and there is no keyframes at any of these spots. You're like, well, how does that happen? And then there's only keyframes like here, 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 and then here. So basically, these keyframes right here, as I'm clicking on the Steve rig, is these keyframes are all to do with the entire thing. Like me moving this guy here and here. That would be keyframed in this area, and I just, it doesn't stick there. Like I can move this fucking wherever I want, and then I'll just click on the keyframe thing and it goes back because it's not keyframed. So if I just, look at that, see, there's no keyframes there. So if I go into the visual selector, just give me a second. I'm gonna have to every time I reopen this, I have to add the image back in. So I'm gonna cut this video very quickly, and we'll be right back. Alright, we are back. All I had to do was just import my my Steve rig. As you can see here, this is where I double click it and it would add in a Steve rig. As you can see, we'll just delete that one. And and what we're going to do here is just, oh no, wait, that's not right. That's where I opened it. It's down here. Okay, so if we go into textures, I mean, this doesn't really apply to you guys. Unless you use Weedline's rig and you run into this problem a lot, I'm just going to drag the texture in there, click on animate, minimize that, and then we'll go, okay, so this is going to be my visual selector. You guys might be using a different rig. I'm using Weedline's paid rig, but you guys might be using a different one. I assume that a lot of them have this, though, this visual selector, but basically every rig has its bones. You can see these little green things here. These are the bones, and these are what's holding the entire thing together, and what's going to make keyframing it's going to make it pretty easy to do. So if I look at the leg, I click on the left leg. Now you can see all the keyframes coming together. This is, I had to go through each one of these different frames and move the leg a little bit. So if we just zoom in here, oh right, okay. The reason that it keeps snapping back every time I go in is because I'm using a camera, and the camera is actually keyframed. If I click on camera, the camera is pretty much just chilling there, and it has to be keyframed because I move it into the mouth. So we're gonna untick that, and we're all the way back here. Okay. So now we're going to get a close-up look in the legs. So I'll click on the leg again, and as you can see, I go forward 5 frames. I think, is that 5? 5 frames, and the leg has moved from here to here. And now I had to manually make that adjustment. I don't use any of those automatic walking things. They might actually work well. I've just never bothered learning how to use them. And then the next 5 frames, and obviously I've just gone in intervals of 5 frames. So I would generally use 8 frames for different intervals of moving your leg up and down, for walking. And for running, it's obviously going to be a lot shorter. But as you can see here, this guy really isn't walking. He's taking very mini steps because he's holding something heavy. He's not going to be walking normally. So every 5 frames, as you can see, let me just click on the leg again. So how I do it, how I move the legs is I do them in intervals of either 5 or 8, or even it would change depending on how they're walking. But as you can see, after 5 frames, his leg goes up, then his leg goes down, then his leg goes back a bit. So there's basically 3 different steps. So it's from the ground, then it goes up, halfway, then it goes down to the ground, then it basically stays in position while the other leg, I make it scoot back a little bit, and then it should get back to there. There's actually 4 steps, and then it goes into the air again, and then down, and then back a little bit, and then it just like keeps going up. And then you pretty much got it. You can pretty much just copy and paste. Not literally. I just mean like you can pretty much just do the same action, just keyframe the same action over and over. So that's that. You want to make sure that when you're walking, it has to look fluid. You can't look like he's too stiff. So that's why I've got multiple keyframes of like him going up in the air, him hitting the ground, and then him staying there a bit, then him scooting back, then him going in the air again. Like you have to make it look very fluid and very natural. Next we're going to go to the waist. Now this is actually probably the most important thing I found, at least with this rig, is using the waist to its advantage. Now here you can see it goes up and then down. And now when you're walking, when you're animating walking at least, you don't want to animate, you don't want to keyframe just the legs. You need to move everything. When you're walking in real life, you're moving everything, including your hips. So what I use here, instead of actually grabbing, like if I click on the rig here, instead of an actual part, and I'm moving the entire rig, instead of like every 8 frames going like this, and then going like moving up, like, okay, now the next frame we're going to move him up and down, like, instead of using his entire body, which I never liked doing, I'm actually going to use his waist, which is a lot easier because in this rig, it actually drags his legs, as you can see here, so it makes it look a lot more natural. So it goes up and down, and this just bounces up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And then once he gets to this bit, his waist continues to go down, and then you want to bend these legs. So if we go to here, you can see the legs. It's just a very long keyframe here. There's a very long space here where this just like slowly like moves, and you've really got to try and you just got to experiment a lot. And then once he comes back up, he steps back, and then he kind of just pivots on the spot here, and then he's looking over to you. And then one last thing, I want this to be kind of short. Maybe I can do an advanced keyframing tutorial later on for you guys. Hopefully this helps you. But the last thing I want to look at is if, I don't know what rigs you guys are using. This is why it's kind of difficult. I've been using this rig the entire time I've ever animated. So I kind of know all the gist of, like, all this stuff. So, but if we're gonna, let me see, let me try and get like a better bit. Alright, so if we go over here, oh, this is very tight. Alright, if we go over here and we're looking at his face, right? He's got that kind of, like, serious, I don't think his eyebrows have actually changed the entire time, though. Actually, apparently they have. I don't know. Okay, well, if we're just looking at his eyebrows and his eyes and even his mouth here. His mouth is closed, his eyes are looking straight ahead, and his eyebrows are like that. So now, we're going to go on to over here. His mouth is open, his eyes have moved, like, I think they've moved. Wait, if we... Yeah, see right here? They're looking down. And then they have obviously been keyframed to move to the center, looking at you guys. His eyebrows are no longer crossed, and his mouth is open and wide. Now, how you keyframe facial expressions and everything in the user data, this is actually quite hard for me to figure out. I had to ask Weedline himself. But these little things on the left here, you want to control-click these, and that's going to keyframe it. So if I go... I might ruin this for a moment, but if... Oh, God, I can't see. Oh, God. Wait, okay, there you go. See this little thingy up? This is my little control board, and I couldn't see any of the options. So if we move the eyes over to here, and they're going to look in the corner, all we got to do is find the pupils option here, and it's going to be orange, because it's changed. It's going to stand out. Do you see this little orange thing here? That means it's been changed, and it has not been keyframed yet. So if you change anything, if I move over to here, then it's just been reverted back to its normal state. So we're going to move the pupils over here, then hold down Control and click it, and now it's been keyframed. You can see the keyframe right here. That's the keyframe for just the eye. So if you want to change anything in user data, you have to make sure to left click and control on each thing. And if you guys just want to like add, let's see, if we go over here and we'll go to the mouth. Where's the mouth? Mouth. Okay, so if we go to mouth, and I don't want my mouth to change. I just want to add a keyframe there. Then we're gonna go mouth, and you can just highlight it like. It's already highlighted. You click on it. Sorry, it's pretty late, and I just wanted to get this animation tutorial out. You guys have been aching for this and aching for more stuff. I actually really want to do more of these, so give me suggestions down below. You guys get the gist of this. Just Control and left click. Remember that. And a lot of animating is just experimenting. Just spend your entire day just like screwing around. You don't even have to do anything serious. Just try and animate, and then by the end of the day, hope for like you to like. Just try and animate something that looks realistic. Make that your end goal. Just like not even animating something super serious or super good. Just make it look realistic and not just like all stiff. Because that's something I see a lot, and it's something that people really need to work on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you guys want to see more in-depth looks into keyframing and how to do certain movements and stuff like that, make sure to, first of all, give me a like down below and a comment down below, and then while you're there, tell me that you want to see it. Tell me what you guys want to see, and, I want to do more of these from now on. I've been doing a lot of Minecraft Let's Plays and stuff like that. I'm getting sick of it, I've got to be honest. I'm done with Minecraft Let's Plays. I'm gonna continue them, but definitely not as much. I'm gonna move on to other games. But tutorials and how-tos and other stuff like that, it's fun. I find it a lot of fun to make. You guys seem to enjoy it and respond well to it, so just let me know what you guys want to see. Thanks for watching. As I said, make sure to leave a like down below. It really does help. And subscribe to the channel for more tutorials and goodies like that. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!